Well, welcome back. Traveled far and wide, and I found some people to play chess with. Thousands of miles traveled. Finally, somebody who's heard of this game. It's crazy, you go out in the streets and oh, no one knows the hell Citrange is. Well, anyway, I went and played with this fellow. I didn't get permission for his name, but he's an Italian man. And we went back and forth a few times. He beat me a couple times, and I just realized, oh, I'm so slow with writing it down. Why don't I just play alongside on the phone at the same game on the board? And that ended up being a real game changer for me. And so I ended up playing quite a few over the board games. This was the last one, unfortunately, with him, but it's quite nice. Now I believe we went into the alekhine defense. So we go for e4, attacks, I defend, and I decide to push up, eventually. No, that's not what happened. Okay. Yeah, the beginning was a little bit messy for sure. If we look at the analysis, that is the lowest point of the game. And it's because I didn't really know what I was doing. I think I need to study opening theory, for sure. But at this point, I decided to push up. And that was, I think, the turning point of the game, for sure. Now this advancement forward, you see on the g4 square, is basically the first mistake, and I think that I know how to capitalize on it, because there's not really many places for the knight to go. It's a wasted tempo there, right? I push up I do h3, then it's an under attack. There's not really anywhere you can go. That's a no, it's no, no, no. You just have to go back. And it means everything's forced from here on out. I believe that the quote-unquote best move is to bring this bishop up and double the pawns and all that, but I prefer to have an attack on the queen, and, well, as I suspected, the pawn was pushed forward, and that leads to a capturing of the knight, as you see here. Now, from then on, I realized that I'm going to try to do as many pins as possible, because I think that this sort of tactical exchange is going to be more beneficial in the long run. So we bring up the pawn, try to get that pawn taken, exchange down, keep everything defended. I can still castle on that. Now we see our bishop is attacked, so I go ahead and bring that back. Didn't go for the thing, so I was saying, hey, I'm up points. I'm just going to go ahead and trade down. I don't care if you get the center. I think that I can probably keep that out. Now, I decided to develop then at that point, see if I can maybe trade some more down, but I do realize that the g-pawn is now hanging, and so I think, hey, wait, we can probably just bring the knight out to attack and defend that at the same time. Not sure why that was not such a good move. Oh, right, because there's a tactic here. You can take the new bishop with a check. I can't block it with anything. But that was missed, and then ends up being okay. However, I do walk into this pin here with the rook, and ultimately, it does end up being okay. I decide to get to the center, develop more, of course. Yeah, I go ahead and go for the trade, because, it's basically gone at this point. And I decide to utilize the pin again. Pin it to win it, for sure. And that is the aforementioned pin that, I mentioned. And it looks like a pretty good move, because, I just take my queen. No, there's the rook there, and that means if I can't do anything, then this knight's going to go down. That's what it appears. However, the tactic that my opponent missed was not missed by me. We can do this check. We can throw that check in there. And now the situation is changed. Because, you see, king can't go down at all. Wait, why can't the king go down? What's going on with that? I can bring that in, and then I can get the rook, right? And then that leaves this one hanging. So if the, so we get the check, we over here, then I can pick this up, and if this one takes here, I'm still up. And also, there's new shenanigans going down here that protects against the bishop and the a8, so it's a whole big mess. Of course, that doesn't end up happening, so they go to the right. And that lets us kind of like just walk off there. And then the only point left is to walk right in front. See that? And that stops the pin, and I get the queen at the end. So, I mean, either way, it was not looking pretty. It was pretty scary there, but you know, there's a discovered check, but that's okay. You can just sidestep. And now it's just about trading down. Go ahead and defend the bishop there, and I go ahead and go for the sacrifice to break things open because the king is very weak. That diagonal, it's untenable really. And at this point, I mean, it's not sure there's very much defense. It's plus 38, but on the evaluation. But we just kind of go through the motions on this one. I don't get the most efficient. There's a lot of turtling that went on at this point. But I say, hey, we can trade down, and the pin comes in for it again. I think that what was it, mate 2 is queen to the H file, goes over, and then what? Or is it perhaps, I don't know. Actually, let's see. Let's see if we can get this mate 2 here. Is that be right? Here? 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 No? That wouldn't. That would be a mate. But not in 2. Well, whatever. As you see, just trade down and eventually get back to that spot. Not exactly sure why I didn't go straight for it, but whatever. At that point, it was just a formality, and we figured it out. Ultimately, I think that things to learn from it is, number one, learn some opening theory. I mean, everything is written down on this, so there's really not an excuse to be able to study it. And just to, you have to really evaluate whether it's a sound attack or not. I mean, sometimes you have fancy pins that just saying, oh, I've learned this from my opponent just now, but, well, whether it's true or not depends on the calculation, and you can get that partially intuitively, but, well, not always. Now, perhaps we can get into another one. How much time was there? That wasn't very much. Oh, wow. Not even 10 minutes. Not that I'm monetizing this or anything, but well, I could do a little bit better than that. And luckily, I shall. I wonder who this is. My spectator? Huh. Interface. Okay. Where was I? How does this thing work? I go to profile. Can I go back? I was just looking at bookmarks. Here we go. So unfortunately, that was the last game. Here was another Italian man I played with. And I was playing as white pieces yet again in this one. They said there wasn't much of a mind. Wait a second, was I? Oh, no, I wasn't. I was playing as the black pieces. Let me flip that over. I'm very surprised. I had to flip over the last game. It seems like Lee Chesler loves making you the one going top down whenever you import a game. Or maybe it just doesn't understand that. I guess if I had started as the white pieces, or I started as the black pieces last time, it would be okay, which is weird. I don't know. The local board thing is I'm still learning how it goes. Anyway, I didn't actually review this game, so I kind of forgot what goes on here. Alright, so classic d4. I go for the Englund gambit. And that's not like as the theory says, but I do attack it, and at this point I could have just taken the pawn, but I was like, no, wait, I'm pretty sure that you get the queen out there, and suffice to say, you gotta learn the theory. And I didn't. But I actually made a rather critical error here. You see what can happen is defend, right? Oh wait, hold on. Here. That's what I wanted to happen, but that didn't actually end up happening. Whatever, we can look at the evaluation another time. The correct answer was this, and that stops. That'll be right. The knight moving stops the pawn from being taken, and I can't take it. It's going to be a problem to get out there. So it successfully just stops all those threats. I guess that's what the lines have done. Hey, computer evaluation. That's what it's for. Anyway, this ends up being floundering. So, I lost the center, and also there's no queen being attacked. But that's okay. Perfectly equal. You can get out of it. I got some development there by the center being sacrificed for some reason. I just continue with development. Not a whole lot of big brain play is being played here. However, the advancement of the pawns, I think, actually gives me my knight on outpost, which effectively stops it. and it allows me to kind of do some flanking, and I go ahead and set that up there. I think that was kind of integral. You see now it's a -3 evaluation. That was a really big thing there. Perhaps if I get the knight out onto b3, then that's a fork of some kind, I think. I don't know if there's a way to defend that. I guess you could bring the bishop down and lose some material, or bring that down. But anyway, that's going to be good for me. And I didn't end up doing that for some reason, even though I thought that. Huh. And then I get for the pawn, then back. Oh yeah, it was just a free pawn. I guess I was thinking with the left side of the board. Huh. Right? I guess that's just a free thing there. Okay. Anyway, so now we go for some tactics in the center. There's a lot of tension happening on the e4 square. But there is 1, 2, 3, whoops, 3 attackers here. And there are only 2 defenders. Now, usually the attackers are at a disadvantage when it's equal, but you know when there's +1, that means go for it. And unfortunately, it's even better whenever now there's only 2 attackers, right? So I go for the knight first because I think that bishops tend to be worth a little bit more than the knights. And I go ahead and take that. And wonderfully, that also sets up the discovered attack. This game was really all about the discovered attacks. So I decide to go for that. I can now get the bishop at the end and just kind of, well, go for another check, of course. That diagonal is set up a little wall for my bishop, and because it's a check, there's also a wall here, everything is safe. And that allows us to bring the bishop back and not have to worry about this pin anymore, and we have all these lines, you know, going down here, here. It's a bad situation to be in, and that's why I want to be there. Well, for the other person, of course. I go ahead and defend, and at this point it's like, oh yeah, now I can bring the knight forward. Right, it was sitting there on the rim, forgotten about, and now the trade is down, and that's just good for me. I'll go ahead and do a discovered attack there. If they go for the bishop, then I get the rook, so it's good for me. And if they go for attack it, that's also totally fine, because now, well, let's get out of the way. Go ahead and bring it to the center there, get some more lines of sight. That's a pretty good thing to do doubling up. That would be a good thing. But of course, the bishop on the g6 square is, well, plenty enough to defend. The king itself is also a defender, so that's 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Defenders win. I think there was probably a better way to go for the kill on this one. But the discovered attack into setting up another discovered attack ends up, well, I guess you can just step out of that, huh? It's kind of have to, well, whatever. That's what I was thinking at the time. All right. Then I accidentally step out of the mating thing, but at this point it is about cleaning up. As long as I keep the bishop pair, we can trade down the rooks, and you can get mate right there. Of course, the extra pawns will help too, so, I mean, we're getting out of this, for sure. Anyway, so this is defended, and, you know, this is taken up. The only option is to go right here. That sets up another attack. We can go down, and there you go, right? That's the idea that I went through. We simplify down, and we actually get another point out of that. And then, of course, doubling up the rooks, probably not the best move, but whatever. We get there. Funnily enough, I ended up using these pawns. I guess, I'm not sure if you remember where what en passant was, but there's kind of a limited potential of this move anyway, you know. You're still getting tossed here. Yeah, here, but then, you know, what are you going to be doing? It's not a good situation. Right. Anyway, layer the pawns down, and there's a turtling escape, but it just does not come fast enough, and in the little cubby corner where it got them surrounded on all sides, game over. But I don't know, I had a lot of fun with that. That was the only game that I played with this fellow on, unfortunately, but I think there were still some things we could illustrate with it. Okay, now let me see here. There was another game that I played. I guess I'll go ahead and back up there. Alright. So there is V. Oh yes, there we go. Another Italian man that I played with. The chess. Okay, so black is... I'm always the opposition on this for some reason. So here, whoops, flip the board. I love technology. I know exactly what's going on. Okay. So, which one was this game? This was the... I always like my e4 times. Right, yes, the fianchetto. Yes. He loves doing that. Do that in both games. The King's Indian Defense. And that was just a straight blunder. I'm not really sure what was going on there. Generally, I think that the way to take care of the King's Indian Defense is to get rid of that powerful bishop. That's the most strategically important piece. And the way you do that is you can back up the bishop with the queen, and then just bring it in there, and otherwise go down there. It's a whole mess. If you can get your queen on the corner, then that is a stranglehold that is really important. I think I saw Hikaru do that at one of his streams, and I think it ends up being very effective. I prefer to keep things closed down because I don't want the bishop, pointing lasers everywhere. That's where this power comes from. And now you see there's a secondary attack going at the same time. You bring down here, bring down here. But tempo, that's what's important. Even if you can bring this down, I have just half a step faster would be the mate. And, well, that's what happens. The best move to get out of here is to sacrifice the queen, and even then I can defend. It's not going to be a happy situation. So that's defended, and we can get the king in there, and the whole thing. And we can even go back to that stranglehold there, because the dark squares are now incredibly weak. And I guess we can start marching pawns, get this rook involved, and it's not a good scenario. But that was that game. It ended rather quickly. I think that I don't even think that there was any mistakes on this side. I think there's still a center pawn loss because I'm not playing Alpha Zero or whatever the stockfish is what they have here, right? But was there a way to check that? Average center pawn loss? Yeah, there we go. 46. Half a pawn every move. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that was a pretty nice performance. Unfortunately, it made me very cocky in the next game, and whenever I did a replay, it was quite a there we go. King's Indian attack. Now, this I'm actually not very familiar with. Let me go ahead and flip the board again, because I'm not medium fun area, apparently. Alright. Get that down. There we go. So, setup. I don't really know the knight first. What is this one called? Oh, goodness. Usually it tells you. Well, I'll just go back in the footage. We'll see. Okay, so King's Indian attack. I go ahead and take the center because, well, I like taking the center classically. D4 openings, or, well, I guess D5 in this case. Not very familiar with. I'm going outside of the book, or outside of the moves. Of course, I like to attack the knight. Here, this is not so good. Why is this not good? I'm not actually sure. Okay, yeah, I guess you just lose the tempo. Oh, yeah, that's it, the knight's trapped, of course. Because of the bishop. Right there you go. You can go down here. That would be not so good. I was thinking at this point, oh yeah, I can do some kind of fishing pole thing, As long as I don't castle, then I can get the rook, the queen, and the diagonal, try to go up and go for an early mate, kind of like last time. But I would go for the material advantage at this point. However, yeah, I go for the attack, and I just have to go back, I guess. Again, with the aggressive pawn pushing, the A file and the H pawn and all that, I don't really get that. I guess it's sort of a very weak flank, which can be useful, but yeah, it just seems kind of like an impotent threat. Well, as I guess we see. Now I'm thinking at this point, okay, we got the king in here, so it's going to be a little bit tough to route either with the tempo, getting the H pawn up, or lifting this rook, getting this all in. That's just a whole lot of moves. So we're probably going to have to utilize this the dark squares here. No, there's a lot less development on the white side, and I think that's where our advantage mostly lies. Although there isn't a slight material advantage. Ultimately, that blocks him then the piece, and it's this coordination is rather low. Now, why is that a bad move there? I guess because my bishop is lost. Not as lost as it could have been. Okay, so it wants me to go here, huh? First, let's just recap the game before doing that. So I lose my entire advantage by getting my piece trapped. Not as bad as it could have been. If I had done the bishop first, then I would be losing both. And now it's all about active defense. So, some turtling that goes in here, attacks the rook, and as long as every piece is defended by itself, ultimately the king at the end, then it's impenetrable. And the opponent either has to lose material for that position, or we can secure a draw at best case scenario perfectly. And luckily, that ends up not being necessary. I could have taken advantage of that, but I didn't, because I'm thinking, oh yeah, I got this totally under control. I don't got to do it. And because of that last game, I tell you, ego. That's humility is a survival skill. That's something you can take in your life too. Yeah. But let's just say it was quite a wild game, and chess is about whoever makes the last mistake is the loser. Not the most. Not really sure why that's such a bad move. I guess it's good to be able to trade here. I don't know. My analysis of this game is needs some work. Anyway, I decide I'm going to go ahead and reroute the knight. Boom, boom, boom. Take that there. And also that leads to a defense on this pan right here. There's not really much that's going on there. Where is the... Right. Same old pan. Just don't have to be afraid of it, especially because you can just take it. Not sure whether that isn't a blunder. I guess the blunder happens... 4 points. Oh well. Anyway, I decided to willingly walk into this discovered attack because, well, I just don't think there's very much that you can do. I mean, what, you go here and, oh, it's still under attack, but then this is under attack, and, I can always cubby over here, and it's still be fine. You're going to either lose material. Because this just isn't defended. But that's actually kind of a nice move here. There's a, discovered attack here, and, you can't take this rook because it's defended, and, this can't be taken because, or this can be taken because if I go here, then, that one's lost. So I say, okay, let's just keep that tension then. Boom, 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 and now I can just use the rook again. The same one before that was unaccounted for, it comes back to bite it. And that ends up being the main point of the game right there. It's that last mistake. I go ahead and say, fine, if you can take that rook, I'll take this one. I still come out on top. We have plenty of defense here, and, well, you can go ahead and do that. Now at this point, it's just wrapping up, making sure that there's no cataclysmic errors, defending, getting the king away from there, and that way our pawns can be taken care of. So now the best we can do is draw. Let's go ahead and try to go for the promotion, but now you got to really pay attention because it can be really easy to do a stalemate. So I thought here for probably 30 seconds for the move. I said, okay, put you up in the corner, and then get the knight in, game over. And actually, I think that's the only ones that I've digitized so far. Let me go ahead and check the time. Yeah, that's enough, I think. Well, why don't we just cap it off with a puzzle or two to get back in the groove of things. Now that I am in a new place, I actually have better internet now, surprisingly. I mean, who knew? I mean, I got more than 1 megabit per second. That's crazy. Crazy cat. I moved to the future. Now, how do I do puzzles again? Puzzles? Click on the puzzle button on the puzzle tab. It brings me to the puzzles. Beautiful. All right. Now, to think about these moves that I'm doing. All right. So, what can we do here? My first thought is we can move this bishop out. That would be an attack. That would be an attack. But what does it even? Does that do anything for us? I guess you could take the bishop, and then now this is under attack twice, which would not be good. Huh. That's not a particularly good move, I don't think. Well, why would we not take the bishop then? Huh? The queen come down, and then at that point we can just go for the trade, and then we come out with bishop on top. But then let me think about this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, presumably. Or no. How about this one comes up, I guess. We're not even in a good situation, are we? I guess we could. Oh, let's think about this. So, if this bishop goes here, we can just get that. Everything's still defended. No worries. Even if there is like, wait a second. Okay, so we're going to defend against a tactic. No, the queen can check and possibly take our bishop. So we have to get something out of there, right? So if we get that out of there and go that down here, then eventually we can take this, and then we get a pawn up. So I think that's probably our move. And even if we get the queen out here, this rook is defending this other rook, so we can take that over there, right? So I think that first move here. No, it wasn't. Dang. Well, is it over here? No. Does it just go straight forward? No. Do we go for the rook trade? Okay. Well, let's see what we're missing now. Do we want to... Alright, do we want to like step out of this or something? Or what are we thinking? So if we go here... No? Okay, how do we take advantage of this? That's something I'm not seeing. I don't know. Straight for the take. No. Get out of there. Out of here. Now why is that a good move? I don't get it. Let me think. What would you do after this? Are we just up now? Attraction? What does that even mean? Crushing? Middle game? Short puzzle. Wow, I've been outside of the chess world so long. All these words, they've advanced. Come to the future. Like I mentioned before, there's hot water here. I mean, there's like shower heads that the hot water comes out of. I don't know if you've heard of that technology before, but it's pretty crazy. So let me just try to understand things with my caveman brain. What did you get out of here? Not going to defend, are you? If you defend here, 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 then we get this, I guess. And is that our pawn up? Did we win? Is that it? We just have material now, I guess. Huh. I have difficulty understanding. Why is something like this wrong? I mean, you don't want to go for here, right? I guess that is, we would be up there. And there's nothing you can do about that. That would not be good. I don't get it. I guess we'll continue training and seeing what we got with this. Okay. Now, kind of reminds me of the Gauls mate, right? The idea that there's attack here is like, oh, we're attacking twice, right? So, we shouldn't be moving this knight, principally. But what if it's good? If it gets us the mate, then of course we're gonna try to go for it, right? Probably not, though. I wouldn't think. But let's just think. Here, And then what? We can't do any check on the king, can we? I just don't see it. That wouldn't. You can just step out of there. There's no thinking. You know. Oh, we got the bishop. Yeah. No. That's not particularly good. And we can't even. We're not getting this one out, are we? No. Is there really any good that's coming out of there? Not that I'm seeing. So it's just trying to find the best defense, I'm thinking. Yeah. So let's see, what is the most plausible move that we have here? What are we even going to move? This? Can we get this bishop out? Is that going to help? No. Oh, well, okay. So the plan is to take 1, 2, and then what? Is that really what the plan is? Or is there something else, perhaps? Do they perhaps want to push this pawn up? And again, and that's defended. And, we have to 1, 2, 1, 2. No, that can't be right. Surely not. Is it that it's actually totally fine if they go for this? Well, I guess our pawn's doubled, but still defends against the knight up here. Okay, perhaps we can go on a counterattack, huh? Counterattack. We have this. We can check the king, right? That's something. But then wouldn't you just put over here and then that's that. I guess we could do a sacrifice. That's a check. And if you try to take it, then we could get the rook. And that would be good. If they don't take it, then we just got a pawn, I guess. Or we could even go for the pawn there, so too. I guess that's the best move, right? Yeah, and then we go for the rook. Okay. Wow, we're exactly 1 point behind where we are.